Good morning, beautiful people. I'm actually coming to you from my laptop for the very first time, so bear with me if something happens. It's weird. So yeah, it's really early morning, and today's video I'd like to talk a little bit about breastfeeding, because it's a very subject near and dear to my heart. And also, there's a lot of misconceptions. So, first and foremost, trust your body's ability to make milk for your baby. There are very few instances that people actually don't make enough milk. And I might inflame with people when I say that, but the most common reason that is unavoidable in some are hormonal issues. If you've had trouble with your thyroid, diabetes, PCOS, it's not impossible to breastfeed, but there is a possibility that it will be not to the amount that you can sustain it exclusively. That doesn't mean you can't breastfeed at all. You can do combination feeding, which people don't realize they can do, or maybe they feel it's too much work, but it is an option for you. The second reason that you can't control that you wouldn't be able to breastfeed is glandular, and I'm not talking about small breasts, large breasts. There's a complete difference of actual glandular tissue of your breast being able to make the milk, the cells, the actual cells. So being small or large has nothing to do with it, and actually in my own experience, the larger breasts have actually produced less milk than the smaller counterpart. So just my own experience personally, but that also isn't always the case. The most common reason that has nothing to do with your biology is management. Poor management of breastfeeding, whether there's a latch issue, a tongue tie, mom's positioning isn't great of the baby, what have you. That's probably the most common reason that people do not continue breastfeeding or think they don't make enough milk, because the management's been poor. Yes, we know. So, find a good lactation consultant, such as myself, or somebody you trust who has breastfed a baby before, or find a good book. There are books out there. I'm currently reading two, actually, one at work, The Womanly Art of Breastfeeding, and also this one, Nursing Mother, Working Mother, which is backwards in your camera, but it actually has some good information, especially if you are going back to work. However, not if you're going back to work at an unconventional job, such as myself, where I work 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. But still, it has good reference for people who might not have had a education in lactation. The first half of the book is all about how it happens, how it works, and why it works. If anything you take away from this video is this next point. Obstetricians and even pediatricians do not have a concentrated education in lactation. If you have an issue with your stomach, you go to a gastroenterologist. If you have an issue with your brain, you go to a neurologist. If you have an issue with your uterus, you go to a gynecologist. If you have an issue with lactation, you go to a lactation consultant. They have a concentrated education in lactation. Doctors have a very brief education on it when they're in their schooling, and unfortunately, I believe a lot of them are schooled in, well, if it doesn't work, give formula. And that is not always the case. If the first thing out of your provider's mouth is give formula, you can refuse. And you can say, I'd like to talk to a lactation consultant first. And that's something that people don't realize, is that they can tell their doctors no. Or they feel weird saying no to somebody of an authority who's supposed to know better. They don't always. My pediatrician for my daughter told me supplementing is okay with formula, and this happened on her 4th day of life when she had only lost 8 ounces. We had no issues. My milk was coming in that day, and there was no reason for him to tell me that. If I was a woman who didn't know any better or who was a little more nervous, a nervous first-time mother who didn't trust in her body, I may have went out to the store that day, bought formula and supplemented when I absolutely did not need to. So please educate yourself in lactation, if not before you have a baby, after. And somebody wants to say goodbye because this video is a little over 5 minutes. Hello, goodbye.